Let's pick up where we left off in the last installment. It turned out that the ancestral sword scripture in Lu Xianying's family was not a book, but rather, it was infused into the bodies of future generations of children and grandchildren by a sword chi, and the sword scripture would naturally appear when an exceptionally gifted inheritor appeared. The founder of the sword scripture was a sword cultivator who defected from Xingyang Mountain. He left Xingyang Mountain and went forward to join Wind and Thunder Garden, then fused the essence of Xingyang Mountain and Wind and Thunder Garden's respective sword Dao, and created his own sword Dao, which is this sword scripture. So whichever sect the sword scripture belongs to, that sect will instantly be upgraded in grade, and the other will be criticized by the outside world for being a plagiarist. So both Xingyang Mountain and Wind and Thunder Garden valued this sword scripture. They would rather destroy the sword scripture than have it fall into the hands of the other side. That's why the moving mountain ape hit Lu Xianying so hard. Being seriously injured, Lu Xianying in the blacksmith store is already dying. Even if the town's best doctor came to heal him, he could not heal him. Qin Pingan was very angry. He thought that it was very unfair for Lu Xianying, so he had to go to the moving mountain ape for Lu Xianying to seek justice. Yuan Xiao very much wanted to help him, but because of Yuan Xiong's identity could not be accompanied by the same person, she would only be harmed by participating in it to Qin Pingan and Lu Xianying, so she could only chase after Qin Pingan and persuade him to be safe, to believe that Mr. Qi will punish the moving mountain ape and return justice to Lu Xianying, only that he is now tripped up by the things of the town, so it will be a little late. Qin Pingan thought that just kicking out the moving mountain ape from the town was the biggest injustice to Lu Xianying, so he must go to take revenge, but he was also clear about the moving mountain ape's strength, so he wouldn't go to fight with a moving mountain ape. After saying that, he ran towards the direction of the corridor bridge, and when he came to the front of the corridor bridge, Ning Yao had already waited for him for a very long time here, and Ning Yao felt that she hadn't helped Qin Pingan protect Lu Xianying, and that she shouldn't have taken Qin Pingan's money, so she returned Qin Pingan's money to him. After that, she turned around and was ready to go to avenge Lu Xianying, but Qin Pingan was also clear that if Ning Yao was sure that she could help Lu Xianying to avenge his death, then she didn't need to return the money to himself. So he didn't ask Ning Yao to go to find Moving Ape without any hesitation, but Ning Yao's character was straight, and when she said she wanted to avenge his death, she would definitely go. So Qin Pingan could only ask her to wait for half a day for himself to do something, and then ask Ning Yao to join him and go forward to seek revenge on the moving mountain ape. Ning Yao knew that Qin Pingan didn't have any good weapon for defense, so she took out her own skirt-suppressing knife for defense and lent it to Qin Pingan, and the relationship between the two became closer and closer. What Qin Pingan had to do was to go and find 3 people. The first person he looked for was Jigui, because Jigui's life was saved by him, so he knew that Jigui was not an ordinary person. He hoped that Jigui could give him some acacia leaves to save Lu Xianyang, but Jigui refused his request, because Jigui didn't want to waste the acacia leaves that came to her hands for nothing. The second person that Qin Pingan looked for was Qi Jingchun, but Qi Jingchun was not at the academy. He asked Ma Zhan to bring a message to Qin Pingan, hoping that Qin Pingan would keep in mind the reasoning of the woman and the well, and that Lu Xianying's destiny would not be changed just because of weather, or not. Qi Jingchun came to his aid. The last person that Qin Pingan looked for was Song Chongjing, but Song Chongjing, as a feudal lord of Dali, surely would not feud with Xingyang Mountain for the sake of a Lu Xianying, allowing the Dali dynasty to have one more enemy. After all, even Qin Pingan, who was blessed with a shallow fate, had obtained an acacia leaf, but Lu Xianying, who was gifted, hadn't obtained an acacia leaf so far. So one could imagine how much the town's ancestor hadn't looked favorably on Lu Xianying. But looking at the resolute attitude of Qin Pingan, coupled with the fact that he wanted to help Song Jisun, untied his heart, so he still gave Qin Pingan 2 conditions. One is to let Qin Pingan kidnap Tao Zi, the little girl protected by the moving mountain ape. The other is to cut down the old acacia tree of the town. Complete one of these things, Song Chongjing will help Qin Pingan to re-injure the moving mountain ape. And if both of these things can be accomplished, he will help Qin Pingan to kill the moving mountain ape. What he wanted was to gamble on Qin Pingan's character. Ning Yao, who was waiting for Qin Pingan at the wire well, knew that no one was willing to give them assistance when she saw him walking towards the wire well with his head hanging down. Qin Pingan asked Ning Yao a question. If a woman fell into the well, and if you didn't save her, she would drown, and if you saved her, you might drown yourself. What would you do? He wanted to know Ning Yao's answer. Ning Yao said that not only would she save the woman, she would also split the well. This answer allowed Qin Pingan to strengthen his confidence, and after he briefly explained with Ning Yao, he and Ning Yao acted separately. Chun Pingon first returned home and took all the weapons he could use in the house with him. Then he started his revenge plan. The first step of his revenge was to go to the Li family, where the moving mountain ape and Tao Zi were temporarily living, to launch an attack on Tao Zi. He wanted to let the moving mountain ape know that he would also attack people who were not capable of fighting back, and he also wanted to let Song Changjing know that he was determined to help Lu Xianying take revenge. What Chun Pingon did made the moving mountain ape, who had returned to the Li family, very angry, and immediately decided that he would kill Chun Pingon first. That night he came to Chun Pingon's home, ready to end this cheap life of Chun Pingon, but he didn't realize that attracting him here was exactly the second step of Chun Pingon's revenge. Chun Pingon had long been ambushed near his home, and waited until the moving mountain ape shot an arrow at him as soon as he appeared. Chun Pingon knew the disparity between himself as a mortal and the moving mountain ape. So he didn't start a fight with the moving mountain ape head-on, but instead by using his physical size and familiarity of the town to instead. He used his size and familiarity with the town to run around the town, allowing the moving mountain ape to chase after him and consume his physical strength. In between, he continued to shoot a few arrows at the moving mountain ape until he led the moving mountain ape to his own preset traps, and then he pulled the ropes, which directly collapsed the roof of the house, causing the large moving mountain ape to fall down heavily into the abandoned house, causing the moving mountain ape to become very angry, and the fact that the moving mountain ape would be suppressed by the heavenly Tao inside the town, and would not be able to exert his strength. Therefore, the mountain-moving ape could only use the immortal technique to forcefully exchange a mouthful of immortal qi to enhance his fighting power in the town, and this exchange of qi directly made the moving mountain ape lose decades of life. So he was even more angry, and after he climbed up from the abandoned house, he directly chased Chun Pingon with all his strength without giving him any chance to run away. And after catching up with him, he threw a heavy punch towards Chun Pingon's abdomen, wanting to kill Chun Pingon with one blow. However, Chun Pingon had worn an armor made of broken porcelain pieces. The moving mountain ape's blow did not succeed in killing him, and he even made a humiliating gesture towards the moving mountain ape, causing the moving mountain ape's anger to climb up again. Although his life was unharmed, Chun Pingon was still seriously injured by the moving mountain ape's attack and could no longer run, so he could only rely on dodging through the streets to circle with the moving mountain ape. At this time, Lu Baqiao from the Wind and Thunder Garden followed him, and tried to take advantage of the moving mountain ape's search for Chun Pingon to kill the moving mountain ape by using his own flying sword from the back, but the moving mountain ape saw him before the sword could come out completely. A roar from the moving mountain ape shattered the neighboring houses, destroying Lu Baqiao's attack. Lu Baqiao was also glad that his did not force the use of his flying sword, otherwise he might have been killed on the spot. After all, there was also a strength gap between himself and the moving mountain ape. On the other hand, the reason why Chun Pingon chased the moving mountain ape around the town with him was because he had asked Ning Yao to sneak into the Li family's mansion, so that Ning Yao could take advantage of the fact that he was circling the moving mountain ape to set fires all over the small courtyard where Tao Zi lived, and to continue to launch a psychological attack on the moving mountain ape, which was the third step of Chun Pingon's revenge plan. Chun Pingon's series of actions had successfully made Song Changjing interested in him, and Song Changjing decided to fulfill his request to teach Moving Mountain Ape a lesson for him. So on Moving Mountain Ape's way back to rescue Tao Zi, Song Changjing directly stepped out to block his way and fought with Moving Mountain Ape for real, but with Tao Zi's appearance, the two men's exchange of blows was declared to be suspended. The Moving Mountain Ape inwardly became even more determined that Chun Pingon must die. After dealing with the affairs of the Li family, the first thing the moving mountain ape did was to find Chun Pingon and Ning Yao hiding inside the deep mountains. This time it was Ning Yao who made the move to fight against the moving mountain ape, but the moving mountain ape didn't know Ning Yao's origin and didn't dare to make a move so easily, so it still let Ning Yao slash himself with a few swords. The moving mountain ape itself had thick skin and flesh, plus Ning Yao was injured, so this attack didn't cause any damage to the moving mountain ape. The two of them started to fight again after some words. Only the moving mountain ape was really strong. He let Ning Yao have no power to fight back. Even though Ning Yao had flying swords to fight alongside herself, she was still being whacked by the moving mountain ape unilaterally and could only run away while hitting, and this was in fact the fourth step of Chun Pingon's revenge. Chun Pingon knew that Ning Yao could not defeat the moving mountain ape as well, so he discussed the plan with Ning Yao beforehand. Ning Yao would first engage the moving mountain ape, then slowly attract the moving mountain ape to the designated location, while he himself would first go to the river and lay a trap at the bottom of the river, waiting for Ning Yao to introduce the moving mountain ape into the trap, and then forcing the moving mountain ape to change his breath, causing him to lose a few decades of his lifespan again. Ning Yao successfully lured the moving mountain ape to the riverside. As soon as Chen Pinggan saw the moving mountain ape arrive, he immediately shot a few arrows at him to attract his attention. Then a slippery shovel ran away and pulled the trap, directly letting the moving mountain ape fall into the river, and the moving mountain ape's feet were also pierced by Chen Pinggan's sharp arrows that had been set up in advance, which made the moving mountain ape's anger reach its peak, and he sucked up the water in the entire river with a strong breath of air, then started to launch a fierce attack on Ning Yao and Chen Pinggan. Ning Yao's flying sword was also no match for the moving mountain ape. Ning Yao wanted to grab the flying sword and escape. But the more powerful moving mountain ape had already appeared in front of her holding a huge rock and threw it towards her. Under the violent impact of the huge rock, Ning Yao was seriously injured by the moving mountain ape, unable to maintain her balance in the air, and began to slowly fall to the ground. Chen Pinggan rushed out in order to rescue Ning Yao, but ended up becoming the target of the moving mountain ape, which directly pulled out a bamboo, sharpened the root, and then shot it towards Chen Pinggan, causing Chen Pinggan to completely disappear from his sight. Watching the disappearance of Chen Pinggan, Ning Yao thought that he had gone up in smoke in the attack of the moving mountain ape, and a wave of anger burst out from her heart. She ignored the rules of the town and forcefully started summoning her own intrinsic flying sword, and Ning Yao was a natural sword immortal qualification. Her intrinsic flying sword was so powerful that it stunned all the strongest people in the town, and even awakened an old senior who had never awakened in thousands of years. However, because Ning Yao's own cultivation wasn't high enough, using her intrinsic flying sword would be injured by her own sword chi. The moving mountain ape tried to take advantage of the opportunity to kill Ning Yao, but was similarly sent flying by Ning Yao's sword chi. Ning Yao ended up being too injured to use his own intrinsic flying sword, and fell from the air. The moving mountain ape slowly approached Ning Yao, and wanted to kill her completely, but because of the suppression of the heavenly Tao, he stopped briefly. Chen Pinggan seized the opportunity and rushed out, using the wood knife that had been sharpened on the dragon chopping stage to slash the moving mountain ape's arm, and then turned around and picked up Ning Yao on his back to run away quickly. He knew that the moving mountain ape would be the first one to attack himself, so, at the moment, when the moving mountain ape threw out the bamboo, he ran in a circle and threw out a piece of clothing as a blindfold, fooling him. After deceiving the moving mountain ape was unable to catch up with them because of the heavenly Tao suppression. Chen Pinggan carried Ning Yao on his back and ran wildly all the way until he ran into a simple hut that he had built before. Then he dared to stop and rest for a while, and he also confirmed with Ning Yao that they let the moving mountain ape forcefully change 3 breaths, which made him lose more than 100 years of his lifespan, and it was considered to be a fair justice for Lu Xianying. On this side of the small-town governor's office, Lu Baqiao was happily sharing with Cui Minghuang and the others about Chen Pinggan's dealing with the moving mountain ape and sneakingly mocking Song Changjing a bit, when Song Changjing suddenly walked in with Song Jisen, almost causing Lu Baqiao to freak out. Song Changjing was originally just a little bit dissatisfied when he looked at Chen Dui's proud attitude, but Song Jisen saw what Song Changjing had in mind and purposely angered Chen Dui with his words, causing Chen Dui to clash with Song Changjing and forcing Song Changjing to step in and teach Chen Dui a lesson. On the other side of the town, the caretaker, Zheng Dafeng, finds Li Er and states that their master has asked Li Er to move against someone, which makes Li Er very unhappy. Chen Pinggan and Ning Yao were walking in the neighborhood of the hut. Ning Yao found that the postures of all the idols standing in this place called the Immortal's Tomb turned out to be the stances for practicing boxing. She asked Chen Pinggan to write down all of these stances to use for his own boxing practice, and in the middle of their conversation, they found that there was a person sitting on top of one of the idols, and this person was none other than the one who had a great enmity with Chen Pinggan, Ma Kuxuan. Ma Kuxuan wanted to take the opportunity to kill Chen Pinggan here and end his karma. Ning Yao was severely injured due to the backlash from the sword chi, and was unable to help Chen Pinggan anymore. Chen Pinggan chose to stand out and fight with Ma Kuxuan in order to protect Ning Yao. Chen Pinggan had already been seriously injured by the moving mountain ape at this time. Even if he went all out, he was no match for Ma Kuxuan and quickly fell behind. At the critical moment, he remembered his past with Old Man Yang, remembered the breathing method that he had been taught by Old Man Yang after he had failed to help Old Man Yang to pick herbs up the mountain for the first time in his poor days, and briefly regained a little bit of stamina and once again fought with Ma Kuxuan. But because of his own was overly injured, he soon couldn't hold on, and Ma Kuxuan seized the opportunity to give him a blow, causing him to fall to the ground and pass out. Ning Yao could only endure the pain of her injuries and fight against Ma Kuxuan to protect the safety of Chen Pinggan. During his unconsciousness, Chun Pingon remembered his tragic past in his dream, remembering the scene of his mother dying of illness in front of him, and finally remembering his mother telling him to live well. He knew that his mother did not want him to die, so he had to live. Chun Pingon regained his own consciousness at his mother's call. Bursting with his own potential, he re-grabbed Ma Kuxuan's leg and threw Ma Kuxuan out, then shielded himself in front of Ning Yao and fought Ma Kuxuan to the death. In the exchange of punch after punch with Ma Kuxuan, he remembered his mother, the breathing method that old Man Yang had taught him, and the boxing method that Ning Yao had taught him, causing him to instantly wake up and completely explode his potential, directly hitting Ma Kuxuan with a heavy punch. He knew he had to fight Ma Kuxuan to the death. He also drew out the skirt-suppressing sword that Ning Yao had lent him, and once again rushed forward towards Ma Kuxuan. The camera returns to the Yang family medicine shop, where Li Er is squatting next to old Man Yang discussing about Chun Pingon, hoping that his master will come to his aid, only to be rebuked by old Man Yang, who scolds him for casually giving chances to Chun Pingon, almost killing him. To find out the outcome of the battle between Chun Pingon and Ma Kuxuan, we'll see you in the next installment.